Scorpions. If you saw the film, you know why we're listening to this. I dug this scene. It just takes a little bit to get me excited these days because there's so many bad films, and this is not. This was fun. Okay, I'm looking forward to talking about it. You saw the film come in, and let's discuss Mortal Kombat 2. I want to make sure that you understand that I didn't see one. I don't remember the 1995 version. Tonight we're talking about one film, Mortal Kombat 2 2026 on MMT. Let's get the out-of-theater reaction, and then we'll get into what works and what does not work here. Again, if you saw the film, come in and tell me what you thought of this film, because I think it's going to do pretty well this weekend. You know, you look at it, it's in a good spot. We are in a really good place theatrically. So I hope that this film can do a pretty decent opening number. As we get into that, we'll give you that exclusive projector coming up in just a moment. Let me get a quick trailer too ready. I'm woefully unprepared. All right, here we go. I got it. Give me a second. Here we go. Let's get the reaction first, then we'll do it. This is formative stuff. This is Gen X right here. Scorpions, rock you like a hurricane. And their other big hit was the one about the falling of the Berlin Wall, right? That was it. They had two like big hits. Maybe I missed one. Tell me. Mortal Kombat 2's rollicking, blood-splattering, hard R mayhem with Carl Urban as this 90s washed-out action star who gives this movie the proper fourth-wall-breaking goofiness to appeal to more than just stands of that arcade game from way back when or whatever iteration of the video game you played. I had a lot more fun than I expected, and I think this is another winner here in 2026. Let's get a taste of the film here on MMT, and then we're off to the races on this MMT Eat Live. 1 second, we turn down Hurricanes, Scorpions, and then we're going to get into the trailer. Here we go. Here's a taste of it. Let's do it. By the way, when I'm watching this, I don't know who any of these people are. I am not of the lore of this film. So as I was watching, I'm like, who are all these people? It's a lot of characters. But just hear me out. Let me get to the title card so I can just hit it there. There we go. It's perfect. Pop. No, hold on. Pause. So what happens when you do it live. Okay, so listen. When you look at, I don't think I had the right one up. That was nice. Good job, Weber. Thumbs up for not even having the right video up. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Where is it? Dude, what the hell? Man, tonight is just, the stuff's not working for me. It's good. We'll do it. So look, here's the deal. When you look at this film, you've got all these characters coming through. And if you're not a fan of the game and you don't know who they are, you're not alone. Either did I. But here's the magic of the film. You don't need to. I think it really all falls down and it comes back to Carl Urban. Because you've got this washed up 90s action star going to comic book conventions. No one's coming up to his booth. I love that. I wish there were more of that. We'll talk about that in a second. And then he gets sucked into the game, which I guess is part of the actual mythology of this, right? But the way that it's handled, and he's perfect for the role. He's, doesn't know his superpowers, then obviously becomes a big part of the team to take down the bad guys. I mean, that's basically like every movie, right? We got to make the journey to get the thing so that we can defeat the main boss, and then we can reunite and then go on another adventure, which is exactly what we do here. But what I do like is that it's uber bloody. I mean, this is like total mayhem, right? I mean, this is crazy as far as the violence level. And I have no problem with that. I think that's great. You really need to push the envelope when you have a game as violent as this game, right? And I think that's the thing. It's non-sanitized. Now, I don't know. I assume the last one was as well. But this one, for me, the original kind of new world version of this, for me, taking it in, it all worked. And I understood what was going on to a point enough. And I think the battles largely work. The effects are solid enough. It's an $80 million film. So you're going to have some issues with the budget not being quite high enough to get you that perfect looking film, but I still think it's not like you're watching it going, this looks like some rickety old half-ass no budget kind of thing. So that is not really a major issue here. I mean, again, it looks setty. Well, you know what that means, right? That means that it looks like I'm on a set. I mean, you can tell that we're not actually in physical locations. I mean, that happens all the time. It's in like every Marvel movie. But I think in this film, you really kind of feel that even more. Like we're stuck in this tiny little location and we're going to have the CGI paint the picture. But again, because you're here to watch the fights, it's fine. It's not like something that, again, is to a huge detriment to the film. And I think the humor is solid. You look at Urban and you look at this. Let me pull up the IMDb. This dude right here who plays Kano, is it? Josh Lawson. Hilarious. He's the Australian dude. He's really good. I loved him. He's got amazing one-liners. He's got the laser eye. So between Urban and Lawson, you've got the film. You've got the two people that really make this something that's interesting to watch, especially if you're not really into the mythology and the lore of Mortal Kombat. But that said, I think it can even be a little bit crazier. I think it can be a little bit more leaning into the Johnny Cage part of it, which is Karl Urban's character. Again, I would spend more time, honestly. He's at that convention. I would just flesh that out just a little bit more. Have a character come in, do a little bit more than just him sitting there and then this Instagram influencer person taking a selfie with people. It's not enough. I feel like there's so many times in this movie where you have an opportunity towards the end of a scene or somewhere where you can just build on some wacky dialogue that will land better than Karl Urban saying, "What?" and then the scene's over. Instead, have him, because you already said the F-bomb, have him stop and goes, how the fuck do I know? Better than what? Right? You see what I'm saying? It's all in the delivery and just taking that extra step. It's punching up the lines. I think this film needs punching up, and it needs to just be even a little bit weirder. Like, I think that Lawson really goes for it, and you can see it in his stuff, but even that could be, I think, pushed up slightly. So the knobs are going up on dialogue and weirdness just a little bit, but there's enough that I like. But again, that's why I'm not going to be up in the 90 percentile here, because the movie still has a few things that needs to be cleaned up and punched up is the perfect term for that. And I think we're looking at 80% here. I really was surprised how much I had fun with this film. It's a little long, it's about 155. I would bring it in closer to 140, especially when you get on those back end, those battles that keep going on and on. You're bleeding like 3 different battles together and you're meshing them and you're having them, all of them end at the same time, right? And they all come together. I get it, but we've seen that so many times. And also, it's at some point you're like, okay, I get it. The main character that's going to win is down. Looks like all his hope is lost. And then they turn it around and look, they're the victor. Okay, yeah, great. But again, I just want to squeeze and just tighten the screws. You look at it as I go back to Man of Steel. You talk about a film that really wears out its welcome on that back half because the battles go on and on and on. Directors, you need to know restraint. Just pull back a little bit. The audience got what they wanted, and you don't need to beat them over the head with it. Bludgeoned with this shit. And I think that's not quite here, but it gets almost to that point where you're just like, I'm ready for this to end. You don't want to feel that way. You want it to end, and then the audience goes, hell yeah. Great example, like last night, okay? So I saw Michael again last night in IMAX at Universal. What an experience. The biggest screen in LA, and it sounded amazing. It was basically sold out. When I bought tickets, there was no one there. But here's what I'm going to get back to is when it was over, right? Remember, if you've seen Michael, we talked about this when we watched the movie. You've got the audience that is like, what? There's more to the story? What's going on? The movie's over after he does bad. You expect it to keep going, and all of a sudden that card comes up, and you're like, huh? And then the audience is like, let's keep going. That's what you want to do. So that's how you accomplish that, is leave them wanting more. And again, as I'm walking out of IMAX last night, this dude was like, play it again. Let's go. Re-rack it. And because not only does the film deliver, right, Michael, now we're on to Michael for a minute, but you also have that you leave them wanting more. And I think that's something that directors really need to remember. Let's go to the MMT theater check, and I'll get to as many comments as possible. Short stream tonight. We're only going to do this, and we'll come back Sunday and do the whole thing. But I just want to get into this, and I'm just thrilled that I actually got the right video up. I mean, it's, God, what? Sometimes when you do it live, it doesn't always come together. But you know what? The beauty of it, when it's over, it's over. Here we go. Let's check out the sales. And we have the IMAX 9 o'clock, and this is at AMC Burbank. That's where I saw it tonight, the exact same screen we're looking at right now, and you can see pretty slammed. I mean, only the front rows, and that's not the best place to sit. It's manageable. It's not like over at Universal. You don't want to be up there at all, but you can see most of that's pretty much gone. Okay, let's see if we got a Prime 1030 Dolby Prime. Let's see how that looks. Again, it's AMC Burbank, number one AMC in the world, and that looks solid. Here's the thing, right? Remember, the last one came out during COVID, so it was day and date on HBO Max, debuted in the 20s, ended up with like 85 million worldwide, roughly in that number. So I think this time around, I'm going to take this film at 49, and I feel like, because tonight when I watched the film, the audience really liked it. A lot of hoot and hollering, like a Michael. The core enjoyed the film. Now, some of you might disagree with that, but again, my experience with the crowd that I just saw, and it was about 75% full, was they liked the film and they were into it. And that is, testament to, I think, how this can go, maybe to about 50 million this weekend. We will see how high it can go. But again, I think we're in a good spot theatrically. When you look at the last few weeks, Devil Wears Prada 2 did, about where it should be, but you're talking about $70+ million. You go back and you look at Michael, still killing it, holding strong. This film coming to theaters after it grew its audience on streaming, and people are familiar with the game. It's been enough time between number one and number two, 2021, 2026, 5 years. It's not 2 years. Now, all this stuff matters. We'll talk about it on Sunday night. Mandalorian, right? I have a quote in the Toronto Sun today about how I believe that film's in big trouble because they missed the date by 2 years. People don't give a fuck about The Mandalorian anymore. Not like they did like 2 years ago. Remember when everyone had all the shirts on, all that stuff like 2 years ago? It was everywhere. It's missed its peak, right? So at that point, I think the film's in trouble. We'll talk about that on Sunday. But I think this film's got to be about 50 million. By the way, let's do this live. I got a brand new, unsealed Mortal Kombat 2 pack of trading cards tonight in IMAX. Let's find out who we got inside. This is thrilling, right? An unboxing video on MMT. Have we done? Yes, we did one for the members, an A24 unboxing when they used to send us stuff. A24 doesn't send us shit anymore because I have badmouthed the shit. They deserve it. A24 deserves everything I ever said about them. But I do still like some of their films. This is what? How do you even open this shit? Dude, look, I need scissors. What is this hermetically sealed bullshit, man? Good God. Is it the bottom open up? I swear I'm going to tear the cards up. They're probably worth a fortune. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Who we have in card number one? We've got Byman by Han. Sorry. See, I told you I don't know the characters. There it is in IMAX. Hey, here's the dude I said rocks. This is the Kano, the dude that we were just discussing, that actor. There's that. Tell me I got Carl Urban. I don't. I've got Q Lang, the fire dude, and I've got Shang Tsung. Those are my four tonight. I mean, at least I got the one dude, but this guy's rocks. Could be. Okay, comments here, and then we're probably going to roll on this Thursday. It's a short stream tonight. Yeah, All Elite, I think you'll like it. I don't see how you won't. Again, I just wish that they did more with Johnny and made that bigger. In a way, like off-world. I wish, almost like we had a whole movie of Johnny Cage, right? This mid-90s, Claude Van Damme, right? That kind of thing. where he is now like trying to get signatures sign some signatures and make some money at conventions, which just speaks to now, right? So funny. And so, but like more of that, and you don't get a whole lot of that. You get a nice little flashback, like trailer kind of thing, and then you get, so I think it's enough. I think it's enough. I'm just saying I would lean a little bit harder into that, which I think would alienate some fans because they're like, I want to watch the fights. But I just think that the film might be more interesting if we do a little bit more there. So it's just like twisting the knobs here and there. But overall, it's cool. And Scorpion Song, that's good usage. You know, it goes back to the 80s. Mortal Kombat was back in the late 80s, early 90s arcade game. You know, you got to remember, I go back to Pac-Man. I mean, you're going back to the early 80s when I remember going to the arcade and we had Pac-Man, we had Seawolf. Okay, I'm thinking like to the very first, right? We had Donkey Kong, obviously Donkey Kong Jr. was huge, Miss Pac-Man, massive, you know, all those things, Galaxian, Galaga, Zaxxon. Yeah, I could go on and on and on. Dig Dug. These are all games that are arcade. You know, when it's Chuck E. Cheese, these are the biggest games. So, you know, Mortal Kombat is a little later than that. Remember Afterburner? That was kind of like later 80s, but there's, you know, Mortal Kombat came a little bit after my time in the arcades, but I know it still was obviously a big deal. And here it is. So yeah, trailer isn't showing. Sorry, that's, you know what? That's Johnny. This is you know, the live television. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going back and redoing it. This is live. It's done. When it's over, it's over. That's the beauty. The Mortal Kombat neckbeards are going to love this film. I mean, you know what? And the character, this dude's kind of like a neckbeard, right? I mean, a little, but he's really good. This dude's great. And Urban could even do more, but again, fun. And I think those are the two. You get Sub-Zero in there, right? A lot of that, all that stuff. And Urban, again, you know, look, I like this film a lot more than I expected. I expected to come out and go, oh, God, why? You know, but I had a feeling with Urban's character as this washed up 90s action star, that might be some stuff that would interest me, and it does. But again, look, that's what interests me most, so I want to now see more of that. Two things, MK2 or Street Fighter, which makes more. You know, it's interesting because, again, Street Fighter, another game that's kind of past my prime. So when you look at that, it's hard to say. I've got to look into it. I can't even really say for sure. I've got to see the trailer. It's out, right? Maybe we'll watch that on Sunday and we'll talk about that. But, you know, when it comes to video games, I just go back to like Galaga. I go back to Donkey Kong Jr. I put so many tokens into Donkey Kong Jr., right? You try to, because that was better than Donkey Kong. You had all the different mazes, all the different levels. And, yeah, I mean, listen. We pumped so many tokens. We had the Kmart arcade, okay? In my town in Ohio, we had the Kmart arcade. And on Tuesday was 8 tokens for $1 if you were there for like 2 hours. The blue light special would show up in the arcade and everyone knew it. So we'd be there waiting. They'd be like, hey, everybody, it's 8 tokens for $1. And back then a game was 1 token. So now you're getting double your money. So it's not a quarter, you're getting 8. So you're getting 12.5 cents per game. So it was, yeah, that I'm old school, bro. I'm Gen X. First one. The first Mortal Kombat game was 92. Exactly. See, right beyond where I was really hanging out in arcades. You talk about when I was like kind of done with arcades is probably in the late 80s, early 90s. So anything beyond that, it's not to say I didn't go in, I just wasn't spending as much time as I was in like 86, 87, 88. You go back to a Moon Patrol. You go again, Zaxxon, Spy Hunter, Dragon's Lair, which was a garbage game, as you guys know, with the laser disc, and you'd like move forward, had the animation and all that, but it wasn't actually a playable game. It's more like a graphic adventure. Choose which way you're going. You're like, okay. So this is, again, past where I am, so I don't have the same feeling of nostalgia that a lot of people will. The people in my screening that did have the feeling of nostalgia here tonight, they were 100% into the film. And that's, you know, how we grade these films. Ultimately, when I sit down and we watch these things, remember that I am grading the film against what it's trying to be. And if we can get to that point where I think that it is accomplishing for its audience, what's its intending, what they want out of it, and is it accomplished version of that, a fun version of that, skilled at some levels, overall entertaining. Then we're going to talk about a film that's going to be, up there for what it is. I think that's what makes us better than a lot of these other critics. Not only do we not have an agenda, right? Our agenda is to see a good film, but also I'm not going into Mortal Kombat 2 expecting to get a Todd Field tar. I'll bring it up every stream. I'm not expecting that. I know what this film is. Is this a fun enough version of what that is for its audience? And that's it. That's what we do. When I bash on horror films, you go back and you look at that Undertone, which I hated. What a boring film. That's not a good film, okay? And I know who the intended audience is. Horror fans. It's not scary. It's not creepy. For a second, someone, the audio's good. Oh, wow. Well, that's something. I go to movies to listen to, some whispering in reverse on a fucking recording. But I understood again who that's for. I understand how a horror film should work or does not work. So I get it. So trust me when I say this. No one knows how to do this better than I do and is fair to each of these films more so than me. Have you seen that video? We'll play it on Sunday. It's got that guy coming out of Michael going, critics are the dumbest. I go, exactly. He just rails on critics saying these people don't even know. They have no clue. And that's what I said when I came out, right? And this is weeks later, this dude saying this. That's what I said the night I saw it, like in the first night, that opening, early screening access kind of thing. And I was like, you got to understand that stuff. These people don't get it. And because they're just not relatable. They haven't lived, they're just, again, I think this is what it comes down to. First of all, they have agendas. And then also they just aren't interesting as people. They haven't been fleshed out. They haven't lived. They're very much in their own heads. They're very much of a very pretentious nature, and these people write for themselves. They don't write for everyone. They don't try to access, the average moviegoer. They're thinking, well, this is just not up to the level of intellectual value that I expected. These people are useless. And I'll tell you what, critics have really, really, they're gone. It's done. The age of criticism is done, I think, especially for the big, quote-unquote, big ones. And there's not even any big ones anymore. Let's just be real about that. But you go back and you look at any of these people, from Robert Daniels to Bill Jabiri. These people are useless. They really are. That's as nice as I can put it. And again, feel free to send that to any of them. I don't give a fuck. They're useless. I'll tell them to their face if I ever see them out here. They are literally writing for no one of value. That except for who they think they're writing for, the hoity-toity set in Manhattan. I got news for you. They don't even care. So, you don't even know you don't even know who you are at the end of the day. Like they don't even have a voice that rings with anyone except for that tiny little circle of, look at us. We are the pretentious group of film circle, New York Film Circle members, that whole crew. That I saw a thing, we'll talk about Sunday. It was the funniest thing ever. I saw a post saying, we got together, and it mentioned like all the critics we bash, all those like hoity-toity ones, right? And it was like, this is the Avengers of shit critics. Like, how did you put together a group of critics this bad? This out of touch with reality, and then pretend that this is the group that you're going to decide if a film's good. That fucking group? Are you kidding me? These people are just gone. They're so far gone, it's not even funny. What's a better horror movie, Undertone or Hokum? Oh, fuck. Oh, dude, Luis, why you got to do this to me? They're both bad. I really didn't like either film. Hokum, because at least there's more going on. Undertone is so just like, here it is. This is the recording. Here I am doing my podcast. I mean, it's just too. I like simple, but there's just, it's not. Simple can work. That film doesn't work. So yes, Hokum, but neither one's good. I mean, I'd rather go watch Bring Her Back Again. Name another film. Virtually anything. Clown in a Cornfield. Anything. Name a horror film that we have, virtually anything we have a higher rating on than what we just saw. do you think Street Fighter will offer more of the things you wanted from this movie? I don't know. I got to look at the trailer, Freddie. I'm really not familiar with Street Fighter or any of that. The trailer's out, right? I'll watch it on Sunday. We'll talk about that because I can't speak to something that I honestly have no idea what's going on. I'll tell you what, truth be told, nowadays, I try to kind of stay out of a lot of this stuff and just come on and just watch it now, talk about it now. I don't want to do all this research ahead of time and then go, well, wait a second. It's for me, I'm just at the point now where I just want to watch the movie, talk about it, and move on, right? It's almost like I don't want to carry around all this stuff. And I'm not saying that your question is that, Freddie. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm not knowing what's coming out even at the end of the year. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you, I know obviously this summer we'll do a summer movie preview on Sunday night for sure. But as far as the rest of the year, I know that there's a new Refn film. I know that we have Odyssey coming up. But I don't have some of these people can go on and on and on. But it's at the end of the day, who cares? At the end of the day, all I really want to discuss at the end of the day is the actual film when it comes out. We can talk about the trailer. We can talk about but at the end of the day, I want to say if you ask me, what is my number one skill set? First of all, predicting the future. But very clearly, it's identifying what works and what does not work in a film. Very clearly. So I need to see the product. So I told you, if the studios were wise, they would bring me in on a test screening for every single fucking film, and I would instantly be able to assess what we can do here. If you showed me this film right here, I'd say, can we do a little bit more here? If they say no, we don't have the stuff, because remember, it's all shot. This is the version. Say, do we have more? Can I look at that? Can we think about adding here or there? If they say no, then that's it. We're fine. We're good. Go. It's good. Just send it off. Fans will like it. You're good enough. You're good enough. Okay. And not every film is going to end up being perfect. Not every film, we're trying to punch it up to get to the point where it's the best version, right? And I think that's what we miss so often. In these studios don't seem to be able to access. And usually it's subtraction out of a film. It is subtraction, and it's telling these directors to get fucking control of their movies. And these studios just don't have that. And I told you I'll handle it. I'll handle it in 2 seconds. I'll just walk in and go, this is ridiculous. You got to lose this, and this. And we're not having a discussion about this. Make it happen. Okay, I'll go back to Barbie. I told you guys. As soon as I come out of Barbie, I'm saying we are losing that opening scene. It's gone. You had it in the trailer. Credits in the trailer. We have it. We're done. You're not having it. We're going to open on Barbie Land. We're opening on Barbie World. Whatever the fuck it was. We're not opening on the beach and smashing baby dolls' heads. We're not doing that. We did in the trailer. It's over. You're not getting that in the movie. You're just not getting it. You're not. So that's it. And I'm walking out of the room. We need that. We need that voice in the room. Okay, and don't tell me Barbie made $1 billion. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. It means that it would have made maybe more. There's a better version. And I think what people need to understand is, and I know you guys do, is that my skill set is very singular. It is not able to be attained by everyone because you have to. It's an individual imprint, right? It's a collection of one. I can't teach all these things. You have it or you don't. I was lucky enough to grow up in the 80s in Columbus, Ohio, in a very homogenized, normal place, which is good. It was a test market. We got to see all kinds of products, all kinds of things. I didn't even know it at the time. I'm just a kid growing up, living the 80s life. The best childhood you could ever imagine, like anyone who grew up in the 80s. But that whole experience helped me understand the difference between a film that is very much of a niche A24 thing and a Mortal Kombat 2, and understanding what each film's intended outcome is for the audience it was made for, and then saying, okay, now we've got to do this, this, and this. This is not everybody can do this. And I say it before, I'm so fucking tired tonight. I'm about ready to pass out. That's why I didn't even realize that thing wasn't on. Here's the reality, is that if you think that anybody can jump on the camera and do what I do and be good at what I'm doing, you're delusional. You have no fucking clue. Okay? You need to understand that you might think anybody can be a critic. That is true. That doesn't mean they have any talent. That doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. It doesn't mean that anyone's ever going to listen to what they have to say because they have to prove it over and over and over. Do you know why I get requests to be quoted in the Toronto Sun. It's because people watch and go, this guy knows what he's talking about. That's what I'm saying. You have to be able to back it up. And we've done it repeatedly here. We'll continue to do it. And that's why we are the gold standard. There's no one else that's even close. Okay. I don't care if it sounds egotistical. It doesn't matter. Thank you. You know what? By the way, Luis, thank you for reminding me tonight. This is, I think I just knocked some shit over here. This is Lise from Serie A. There's the patch. And I figured this is it, right? We've got the red, we've got the yellow. I created tonight's orange/red yellow background. Again, nobody offers, I got the Marty Supreme ball. The ping pong balls here tonight. Which matches? When you look at what we do, we bring you the aesthetic. We bring you the goods. We are the gold standard as we get out of here on this Thursday night. Thanks for being here. I'll be back on Sunday night. We'll do a full stream. It'll be more than 30 minutes. This is like the shortest stream I've done in a long time. Thumbs up for that, okay? And let's forget the fact that I had the wrong video / nothing up. Just forget it. It's good. We're moving on. We'll see you Sunday night. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out. Live from LA. Goodbye.